We've got this great equipment from Baileigh. We've got a really cool project that's going to test each and every piece of equipment. And we're going to look at the pros and cons of each machine and make a whole bunch of noise. So here we are, we're going to finish welding our upper part of our door skin together. Just a simple TIG weld right down the middle. We tacked it together. Size wire I use is 023. I like to use a small wire, a straight MIG wire. You want your gaps really tight whenever you trim and put your panels together and tack weld them, so you don't have to use a big filler rod. After we get this thing welded together, then we're going to run it through the planishing hammer and flatten out our weld and smooth everything out. It's all welded side to side. Another advantage of putting this weld in the middle of the bead is this is an easy area to work in metal finish versus out here or even up here. So if you got to make your parts in pieces, kind of plan out your welding so you can get in an area where it's easier to shrink and stretch and shape. Okay, so we got our weld done. Now we're going to use a tool that's called a planishing hammer. What it is, it's a hammer that can hit very, very lightly or very, very hard, depending on how much air pressure you have on it. The word planish means to smooth, to make plain, to make flat. It's from the Latin word planus, but it's really supposed to be just used for smoothing, planishing welds, and raising small areas. It hits at about 3,300 beats per minute. So it's moving really, really fast. That's how you're able to get such a smooth, consistent finish with it. This machine here, we have a regulator here on the back for changing your air pressure, which affects the speed here. Then down here to control it is a foot control. It's basically just an on-off air valve. It's got a nice deep throat for however long your panels may be. This is the selection of dies that came with the planishing hammer. It's a dead flat die, 2 inches round. Then you have a 36-inch radius, 24, 12, 8, 6, 3, 2. 2 is the highest. On my Chicago pneumatic, you'll see I've probably got 20 different dies, and I maybe use 4. They're all heat-treated S7 tool steel, so they're not going to pound themselves flat. It's really good quality die here. And when you're planishing, your top die is always dead flat. So it's real simple. You put the bottom die in first, top die, pull the handle down, ready to go. Got about 1/8 of an inch or a little bit less clearance right there. It's perfect. Only other thing that I would change so far on this machine is the location of this air regulator. I've got mine on my Chicago pneumatic. You'll see I've got it right here by the head. So as I'm working, if I need to change the pressure, I can do it on the fly. Whereas with this, I have to stop, take my piece out, reach back here, make an adjustment, and then get all resituated again, which could easily be moved right here. So it's no big deal. You know, you can make a little bracket here, or you maybe even bolt it to the side. But if it's just right here, make it a lot easier. We're gonna planish this weld out. Hopefully I'm not gonna f it up. I'm going to be using the planishing hammer to raise some of this up, and I'll probably put a little bit sharper die in it on the bottom, a little bit more radius, just a fraction, to raise up this flatter area right here. So that's looking pretty good. The flat spots we had came up nice. We stayed in the heat affected zone here. If you want to raise an area with the planishing hammer, you go around in small circles as you're doing it. You may have seen me going around in circles, and that'll raise it up faster. Nice little hammer. Works really great. So our door has a bottom bead on the bottom. Done all my measurements. I'm going to break this 90. The 90 is going to be our guide for our tooling to put the bead in. So I'm going to break that 90. Then we'll go back to the MH-19, put the tooling in for that, and we'll run this bottom bead. Double check my measurements. After we took it out of the brake, it straightened it up right here on this edge. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kick shrink this just a little bit to get our sweep back in the panel, and before we put the bead in it. Shouldn't take much. This flange isn't very big. Now we got our shape back, or form back in our panel. Now we'll change the tooling in the MH-19 and run the bottom bead in it. Yeah, changing the tooling in this machine is relatively easy. It's no more or less difficult than a pull max. Here we go, let's put that last bead in. Okay, so there's our bead, right in there. All of our sweeps look really good all the way through the panel. Bead still nice, upper part's nice, still nice right there. Everything looks real good. All the equipment that we used from the Baileigh equipment to reproduce this door skin worked flawlessly and gave us some great results here. Next, we're going to build the same door using the Yoder, the Pull Max, and the Chicago Pneumatic Planishing Hammer. So stay tuned for more thrills, chills, and exciting thrills.